In this video, we're going to do the lab of the branching statement or branching conditions. So it's basically talking about if, else statements. So if statements in Python allows us to tell the computer to perform a certain commands or instructions based on a certain condition. So the condition is actually the cases, right? So the general form is right here. It's if, then the case 1 or condition 1, and then perform action 1, else if, condition number 2, then perform the instruction number 2. Could be a set of instructions. Else means if those two conditions are not satisfied, they're not true, then you're going to execute the tasks or instructions of this part. So let's take an example. For example, we can make it a very simple example. So just the simple ones, like if this condition is true, what we're supposed to have. So it's going to print this is true, right? Again, I am going to erase all the outputs first, and then we're going to see what is going to be the results. This basically printed out it's true. And we can also have x as a variable. Then so this is a false. So if this is the false, then only the else clause will be executed. So let's run this one. You're gonna see I will print any case where x is not true. Here's a simple algorithm for guess numbers game. So the basic idea is the computer is going to generate a random number, and then we're going to ask the users to enter one guess, and then we can, if the two numbers are equal, then we will see you guessed it right. Otherwise we just simply say sorry, it's wrong, right? And the number is actually this. So let's read the code. So the first line of this one is say from random is a module, from random import randint. So it's a random integer numbers. Randint has a range between 1 to 10, and then we're gonna, this is actually computer generated number, right? And then we're gonna ask the user to actually input one guess between 1 to 10, and then the guess will be convert from the string. The return value of the input is a string, so this will convert from a string to an integer by using evaluate function. So now we have the user guessed number and the computer generated number. If those two numbers is logically equal, then we said you got it, right? Otherwise we say sorry, the number is this. So let's run this very quick. So the computer has already generated one number, and then ask us to generate our number. So I'm going to type number 5 and see apparently my guess is not right because the computer generated number 9. So this is a game. This is a very simple version game, and you can implement right now. And so this is actually our assignments, part of our assignments. So we did it here. I think one of the assignment questions implement this. Next one is multiple branches. In some cases, we may have multiple branches, multiple conditions. In those cases, we're going to use else if as another condition. So that will be if, else if. Then you can have multiple else if part. So like you can have if and then else if, else if, else if, then else. You can have any numbers of the blocks of else if and the instruction. So in this case, we first say okay, location lock is bank, and here the first condition is if the condition is auto shop, then we'll see welcome to auto shop. Else if the location is bank, then we're going to print out welcome to the bank. Otherwise, I mean, if it's not in the auto shop, it's not in the bank, then we're going to ask where are you, right? So this is the program. Since the location already assigned a value as bank, so very likely this line is going to be true. Therefore, we're going to see this one welcome to the bank, right? That will be our output. So that's exactly what happened. And indentation is important to keep a good understanding of how the Python is maintained in structure. Actually, if you messed up the indentation, the Python is going to give you errors. It will treat you as a syntax error. So for example, so we have to be very, very careful. Sometimes your system may use a table key as an indentation. Sometimes your computer may just use like 4 blank space as indentation. So whichever is using, you got to stick with it and keep it consistent. Exercise. Here we got an exercise. The exercise says the following. This is actually a classic interview question. It's called FizzBuzz. So it's especially for the entry-level interview questions. A brief for our FizzBuzz is to print the number correctly. So if a number is divisible by 3, such as 369, then you print fizz instead of a number. If the number is divisible by 5, number 5, then you print buzz instead. But if the number is divisible by both 5 and 3, then you are going to print FizzBuzz. Otherwise, you simply just print out this number. So here's the program. So we first get the user's input and convert it to a integer, and then this number will be tested if it's gonna be divisible by 3 and 5. So we actually go backwards when we're trying to do this. This will give us great benefits. It's a lot easier. So that's what we call the programming plan. So if we go one way, let's say we can go from count mode by 5. That means count is divisible by 5. It's 0 if the value is 0. And count mode number 3, if it's 0, that means the count number, it is divisible by number 3. So then we're going to print out this FizzBuzz, and apparently you're going to see my indentation has problems. We'll see if that's going to give us a problem. Else if the count number is divisible by number 3, then we print fizz. The count number is divisible by number 5, we print buzz. Otherwise, we just print this number. So if I'm running this program, it is actually ask us to enter a number. So I'm going to enter, let's say 21, for example. When I strike enter, it says fizz, because this is 21 is divisible by number 3. and it's not divisible by number 5, so this one is false, so this will not be executing. And then we come to else branch, and then we test this one is 0, then we get a phase. So this is a good example. I think it's better to put this indentation just like the others. I think this is the, you can put the indentation right here. It's make it consistent with the other indentation. That will be looking better. Again, this is the running. So this is part of your assignment as well. This is part of your assignment. Okay, that's all for the lab part for the conditional statement.